Good morning. My name is Jim McGinley. I would like to welcome you to the City of Laguna Niguel and to the Sea Country Senior Center. We're excited to have you here today. As you can see, this is a full house. We actually had to close registrations. It was such an overwhelming response, so thank you for being here. Unfortunately, you'll notice that our host, Assemblywomen Davies, Dixon, and Sanchez are not present. Unfortunately, they have to be in Sacramento today voting on budget bills, so they will not be joining us physically, but we will have a videotape presentation from them shortly. There are resources in the back table there, so please be sure to avail yourself of the resources. If you need restrooms, there will be a short break. Restrooms are down the hall, both directions on the right-hand side. So again, welcome you. I'd like to welcome you today, and at this point in time, I would like to introduce our former mayor and our Assemblywoman, Laurie Davies.
Thank you all for attending the special event. Financial abuse and scams targeting different people, especially our seniors, is a massive issue in California, and those who scam seniors are just evil. With the rise of artificial intelligence used to execute scams, seniors are now more vulnerable than ever to fraud. The FBI recently released the 2024 Internet Crime Report, which shows seniors lost $4.8 billion to Internet scammers in 2024, a 43% increase from 2023. The average loss per victim was a staggering $83,000. Scams targeting seniors are on the rise in Southern California and nationwide. We have the experts here today to provide tips on how to identify and avoid fraud and highlight resources available to help seniors protect themselves. In Sacramento, I've made it my mission to support legislation that will finally go after these thieves and equip our law enforcement with tools to prevent future scams. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to learning about ways we can finally end these scams. There are no stupid questions, and once all the speakers have presented, we will have time for questions and answers with some of our experts. DA Spitzer has been an Orange County office holder in Orange County for over 30 years. He has served on the school board, the legislature, county board of supervisors, and district attorney. DA Spitzer's legislative and advocacy achievements include Marcy's Law, Megan's Law, chaired the campaign to enhance victims' rights, served as the state co-chair for the nation's toughest sex offender laws, and advocated for DNA collections from felons. I'm pleased to also introduce Senior Deputy District Attorney and Assistant Head of Courts for Major Fraud, Tina Patel, Deputy District Attorney at OCDA for 19 and a half years. Tina currently is assigned as Assistant Head of Courts of the Major Fraud Unit for the last 9 years, with the majority of cases related to elder financial fraud. Tina has also worked in units that prosecute juvenile crimes, general misdemeanors, felonies, human trafficking, and sexual assault. Tina completed her undergrad at UC Irvine and law degree at Loyola Law School. Please help me welcome DA Todd Spitzer and DDA Tina Patel.
Well, good morning. You all look great. I just want you to know how good you all look. I just want you to know I started in this business over 35 years ago, but if you've known me or you see how much more gray I have, it's because I have a no-stress job, okay? First of all, I want to thank you all. I want to remind you before we get into our presentation, you live in the safest large county in California. And when I drove here this morning, I saw people walking on the street, in the parks. I didn't see people looking over their shoulder or double checking their car door to make sure it was locked. If you're gonna live in California, and I wanna give you that caveat, if you're gonna live here, you're living in one of the best places you can live in the entire state of California. And the thing don't applaud me, I just want you to know this. It's not easy today to protect what we have. And one of the things that I subscribe to, that I've been subscribing to since I started in government, is government's here to protect you, but government needs to get out of the way. Like, government needs to let us live our lives and have our freedoms and just live. and not micromanage everything we do. And so one of the things I want to talk to you about is, and I saw the flyer, and I just would like to see some hands. So on June 23rd, there was a seminar here on managing hip pain. How many of you attended that? Okay, well, I need to go, okay? Because I turned 65 this year. I know you're gonna think, oh, he's still a baby. I know what you're thinking because I get this all the time. But when you turn 65, if you have, you all remember life transition, right? From the 50s to the 60s. It's like exponential. It's like dog years, what happens to your body between 50s and 60s, right? So I tell you that because not only as we age, but the world changing is making all of us more vulnerable. I have a loved one. I inadvertently revealed their identity the other day. Big mistake on my part. I have a loved one who got a call from the IRS. My loved one went down to the bank and withdrew $20,000, waiting for the IRS agent to come to the door. Luckily, that person called me and said, you know, I just have this hunch that something may not be right. When I got the call, I was like, something may not be right. What the hell are you doing, right? So I'm like, you call the police right now. I called the watch commander. The police came, and I think all the police cars warded off the person that might have shown up at the door that was a criminal, right? What I'm telling you is, look, I'm going to say this. Don't shoot the messenger. You grew up in an era of trust where you thought people were good, where you didn't need a contract or a lawyer to do a deal. You could just have a handshake, and people abided by their word. That's how you were raised. That is not the world we live in today. People want to rip you off. They want to get to you through your cell phones and through your computers. We're going to have more cyber events as a result of the conflict in the Middle East. I'm promising you that, and you better be much more alert than you ever were. If you haven't changed your passwords, I am telling you, you need to go home, call somebody who might help you if you're not sure. Change your passwords. Do it today. And do not have the same password for Facebook that you have for Bank of America. You all laugh, but I know you do this because everybody wants to have something they can remember. I'm telling you, do not be scared. You have to change your passwords. You also need two-factor authentication. And what is that? That is when you log into your email, you get a text on your phone and you have to plug in the code number they sent you into the email so that you can access your email. It requires 2 steps. You're going to learn about a lot of these techniques today, and I'm just telling you, we are here unequivocally to do everything we can to help you. But I am going to tell you, there is so much crime that there aren't enough law enforcement resources to keep up. So if you're cyber attacked and your bank account is liquidated, you will call the FBI generally or local police, but a lot of the time it's the FBI who does this for us. They don't have enough agents to keep up with the amount of fraud. So I know government, we're here to protect you, right? We try. But I'm telling you, you are the first line of defense, not us. Like, it's got to start with you. You've got to engage in good, best practices, and that's why you're here today. And I'm just telling you, remember the old adage, trust but verify? Look, we live in a world that even some of our loved ones are trying to rip us off. Some of our loved ones are trying to squander our estates. Some of us are being manipulated, and we don't even know it, through great and intense psychological techniques that somebody is taking care of you, and then you go and amend your will, you give all that money to that caretaker, and you exclude all your kids because you've been indoctrinated to think that your kids are trying to hurt you. All they do is want your money, can't wait for you to die, and that you should give it to your caretaker. These are things we see every single day. So the person that is the expert in the office who is, as you heard from the Honorable Laurie Davies, Senior Deputy District Attorney Tina Patel. She's an expert. She's going to walk you through a presentation, and you're going to hear from her and a lot of people today about how to contact us. But one thing I want to emphasize to you, my office will do the original investigations on real estate fraud. We manage the real estate fraud investigations in the county. But every other type of fraud, credit card fraud, adult abuse, things like that, elder abuse, that goes to the police department, the sheriff's department, the police agency. They do the investigation, and then they turn it over to us. So Tina's going to talk about that. Hugh Nguyen, our great clerk recorder, is going to talk about that. He and I don't know if have you ever recorded a document with the clerk recorder in the county, and then you've gotten a notice from Hugh Nguyen and I saying, hey, a document was recorded against your property. If there's no fraud, don't worry about it, but we're just sending you a courtesy alert. Has anybody ever gotten that alert? Okay, great. That is designed to just let you know an instrument was recorded against your property. It probably was your instrument, but we have people that will record instruments, mechanics liens and other things like that, that they go first ahead potentially of your mortgage. And a lot of you now own your homes free and clear. So if you put a cloud on your title, they stand first in line to take your property. So we tell you, hey, an instrument got recorded. We want you to know, so if you did not record that instrument, then you need to report that right away to us so we can look into it. So we're doing things we can proactively to protect you. But again, I can try all day long to do my best. At the end of the day, you really have to protect yourself, okay? And again, trust but verify. So would you please welcome Tina Patel.
Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay. I'm so excited to be here today. I have done a few of these sorts of panels before, and the most important thing that I can think of when I do these is that I'm reaching out to all of you, but my hope is that I'm not just reaching out to all of you, but that you're gonna take this information and then tell your friends, tell your loved ones, tell others out there in the community who are not here today what some of these scams are. Because that's the only way we're gonna be able to prevent them in the first place, is by getting out here, talking about it. Whatever scam that you have seen, if you've seen anything online, if you've received a text message or a phone call that was suspicious, tell your friends about it, okay? Because they're probably gonna get the same one, and you don't want them to fall for it as well. All right, let me go through. So you already heard a little bit about me. But it's important that I kind of say this when I start. I've been with the office for 19 years. And that's like a really old picture. I took like a cool young picture of myself. I also have gray hairs, as my boss Todd was saying, but I dye them all. So none of you can see. They're hidden. But for 19 years, so for the first 10 years of my career as a prosecutor, the crimes all started the same, right? Someone goes out and commits a crime, okay? And then they are arrested by the police department, or maybe there's an investigation, and then they are arrested, and then they're brought to us, my office, and all our district attorneys to prosecute them, look at the evidence, file charges, and basically take them through the court system. But then I came to fraud about 9 years ago, and I noticed that while my job was still about 75% still just prosecuting people who are arrested for crimes of fraud, a lot of fraud cases that I was hearing about and that were getting reported were cases where someone is victim of a crime, or usually this is a cyber crime or something like that. It happened on the internet or on the phone or maybe through email or something like that. And then we can never find the person, right? Because the person that called you from whatever country, typically it might be some other country, is out in that country and we're never gonna find them. Or they're in some country, but the money then went to the first bank account, to the second bank account, to the next one. And so we're never gonna be able to locate that person to bring them to court. And so that turned my job in my head to prosecution, but also prevention, which means getting out here into the community, me and the rest of my team that I work with coming out and telling you guys what these crimes are so you don't fall victim to them in the first place. And more importantly, the one thing I've noticed when I've talked to actual victims of crime, and we did, find the person and we filed charges, if you think about it, what do you think is the most important thing that somebody who's a victim of a fraud crime wants? Okay. They want their money back, right? I heard it, right? They want their money back, of course, because you lost your hard-earned income that you hope makes you whole again, right, by taking this person to court. But I'll tell you, 80% of the time, that money is gone. Now, if it's there, we're going to do everything we can to recover it and get it back to you, and we have been able to do that on many occasions. But usually it's gone. It's spent, it's gone. And so you can get some satisfaction out of us getting a conviction, or that person going to jail or prison, or that, the conviction makes sure that it doesn't happen to another person, but it's not the same as getting your money back. So that's just my beginning spiel that I want to make sure everyone knows. This is about prevention, so you're not victim to this in the first place. All right, I'm going to skip through statistics because we heard a little about that. So how does financial abuse occur? These are the main ways that I see: the mail, the computer, the phone. Not really TV and radio as much, but it can occur, so it's up there. And it happens in person. And I'm going to go through each one briefly for you. Okay, through the mail scams. We see less of these now only because mail has changed. A lot of the communication you get is now through email. A lot of your bills and things like that are through email, but mail still exists. And the most common ones that I've seen are that a letter or a document that looks very official that says you've won the lottery or you've won a prize, or please send to this charity, okay? And so, quick example, we had a case where a woman, I think probably late 70s, was getting mail that said, this is the American Lottery League, right? American Lottery League. And you are in the running to win $10 million. And we're connected to the National Children's Foundation. And these are buzzwords, okay? So I want to tell you, when you see American and national and all that, you're going to think, this is official. And criminals are smart in that way, right? They're also kind of dumb. I'll tell you those examples too. But you'll see that you'll think, oh, well, it says American Charity League. It's got to be real. No, they know that you're going to believe it if it says that. So look for those buzzwords when you get mail like this. And I think hers specifically asked for a charity donation, right? Like, give $100 and you'll be entered into this lottery for $10 million. And so she did. She looked at it and thought, okay, I'll pay for this poor children's charity with $100 and maybe I'll win $10 million. So she sends the money off to whatever account or whatever they said to send the money to. And then, some time passes by. Now they know they have her, right? They've got her trust. So another letter comes and says, thank you so much. You gave, and now you're in the running from the 100,000 people that entered, and now only 10,000 people are in the next level. So now you're 1 in 10,000 that can win the $10 million. Send us another $100. Send us another $200. And the sad thing was she kept doing it. She kept doing it to the tune of, I can't remember, almost $50,000, okay? And in the middle of it, at one point, they sent a package, right? And it said, you won. You won the prize. And she opens it, and it is a American Children's League, whatever, pot holder. Okay, I'm not kidding, a pot holder. And to her, it was like, I won. I mean, so if I won this prize, I am for sure in the running to win that prize. Anyway, that case, of course, there was no way to find where this money went. And trust me, I believe the sheriff's department, we tried, but we could not find where it went, and it was more to stop her. And so the way we were contacted was Adult Protective Services, which is a great resource, was trying to get out there and say, hey, we need people to tell her it's fake. And she wouldn't believe it. She would not believe it. She believed none of us. Eventually, we did stop, but that's like $50,000 later. So just be careful when you see some of these things. I'm gonna go through more, but so when I'm doing this presentation, I like to tell people I could literally delete my entire presentation and put 2 slides up there, okay? 2 slides. The first one would say, do not give money to someone you've never met, okay? That's it. And I don't mean not pay your bills. Like, I know you got to pay the guy for your Verizon bill, and you don't know who that guy is, or your SoCal Edison bill, and I know you don't know who that is. But if you've never met people who are asking you for money, you've never met the person, and they're asking you for money on the internet, on the phone, do not give it, okay? Do not. Number 2, when you're in a situation where you're unsure, is there fraud? Do I owe something? Is something going on? Stop, think, don't just send it up. Stop, think, and then ask, right? Ask meaning ask someone you trust, or call. I'll talk a little bit about how you can call and look into these things further before you send money to something, or research, right? Research on the internet and figure out the right answer before you do that. So those are my two big things, and they'll be in some of my slides as I go through. All right. Okay, on the computer, this is where you probably will now start seeing, or have been seeing in the last several years, the most crimes. And these are typically official-looking emails. And I'm sorry if this is small. I'll try to read some of it. Official-looking emails, ads, pop-up messages designed to trick you into clicking them. Basically, the point is, do not click them, okay? They're trying to take your money. They're trying to potentially install a virus. I'm going to show you an example, and then I'll come back to some of the different kinds. So this is a official-looking letter from Wells Fargo, okay? Now somebody clearly, that is the Wells Fargo symbol. So you might believe, yeah, and you might bank with Wells Fargo all the time. So of course this could be a legitimate email coming to you. And these crooks will find everything. Target, Amazon, whatever. And you're like, I get an Amazon box every day. Of course this is, this is real. That's what you're made to believe. That's how they want to get you. So in this one, it's essentially got the Wells Fargo sign, so it looks real. It's at the top, it says from Wells Fargo, right? But I want you to look at the next slide. These are some of the things they will do that you need to look for in the emails, okay? So if you look at the top, it says Wells Fargo, but then it has a really weird, I can't even read it. It's like kpaw@cuckoo.com, okay? There is no kpaw@cuckoo.com at Wells Fargo. It might be Wells Fargo fraud. That might be more real, but there is no one like that. So look at where it's actually coming from. And then all the misspellings. Okay, remember when I said sometimes criminals are dumb? Okay, that's it, okay? It says here, Wells Fargo. Remember, okay, Wells Fargo's not going to get that wrong. And then down here it says, we appreciate your business and thank you for your prompt. So they'll make little typos, they'll make mistakes, because they're just writing this fast to thousands of people hoping that one person falls for it. There's usually an awkward greeting, like, unfortunately, you're the victim of fraud, something really quick. And then, most importantly, there's always this urgent call to act, right? So right there it says, to read the message, click here. Oh, you can't hear me? Okay, sorry. Now can you hear me? Okay. I'll try to stay. Sometimes I have to. You can take the mic off. Okay, I'll take it off. I tend to walk around. That's my problem. Okay. So, urgent call to act. When they say, click here, log in. Oh, we need your login information to look into the fraud. No. Do not click here. Do not enter information. Do not send money if it says, oh, you can solve this. Send money here. Your Amazon package is late. It's not going to come, but your payment got declined. Pay right here. No, do not do that. So what do you do in a circumstance like this, though, where you think, well, what if there is fraud on my account? Or what if there is a delay in my package or something is wrong? So in all those situations, very simple. You go. You do not click anything here. You do not call. Sometimes they'll have a number at the bottom. Call this number. Somebody's going to talk to you and make you believe they're really a Wells Fargo agent. Do not do that. Go to the actual Wells Fargo website or the actual Amazon or whatever website. Call their customer service. But remember, this is different because now you initiated that call. Okay? You didn't fall for them telling you what to do. You initiated that call that said, or asking customer service, hi, I received an email. Is my account, something wrong with my account? Is there fraud? Is there insufficient funds in my bank? Is my Amazon package late? Whatever it is, ask them. And then if that's the case and they tell you, okay, then there might be something that you need to follow up on. But 9 times out of 10, it's probably nothing, and they're gonna say, no, you're good, we checked everything, you're fine. So these are tough, right? Because I think they look pretty official. We're prone to fall for them. I've gotten them too. It's not just, a certain age bracket that tends to get them. We all get them, and we all have to stop, think, and ask. Here's another one, I think. Oh. Is it not working? No, there it is. Okay. Oh, the computer. Okay. Let me go back. I'm not going to touch on it too much, but online dating, there's nothing wrong with online dating. Nothing is wrong with that. But remember, do not send money to someone you've never met, okay? I have so many cases where they meet someone online, fall for their story, whatever it is, send a ton of money, never met the person, because again, sometimes that picture you have, the person who called you 100 times is not the person you think. And it's usually someone sometimes in the United States, sometimes somewhere else, that's going to consistently talk to you and convince you that they're real, but they're not. Same with investment scams. Just think before you act on those. Okay. Okay, you already heard about the IRS one because my boss told you about that one, and I know you've all got that. I'm sure many of you had the grandparent scam or have heard of it, where they'll call and say, your child needs help, or we've got your grandson. And they're so sophisticated, and the way they get this information is they've gone online. Maybe you're in social media, which again, nothing wrong with being on Facebook or social media, but you might have said, oh, it's my son Timmy's birthday on Tuesday, and now they know your grandson is Timmy, and it's his birthday, and they get all the information. There could be a video. They see exactly what Timmy's voice sounds like. I mean, they are so good at convincing you that the real Timmy is in trouble. Stop, think, and check on Timmy separately before you go off and send the money. But this one does happen. People do fall for it. A new one that I've been getting, toll roads. Has anyone gotten the toll roads? Okay, yeah. Everyone's gotten it. I know. So have I. And the first time I got it, for like 5 minutes, I was like, wait, did I forget to pay a toll? I really thought I forgot to pay a toll. And I know you guys live in South County, so there's more toll roads, okay? So I don't usually use the toll roads because I don't live in the South County, but I know I've gone on it. Like on a Friday, and then thought, oh, I better pay I better pay it. So I looked and thought, did I accidentally go on the toll road? I really believed it. But what you don't want to do, again, is, it's just the way they even say it, that email or the message at the top is Kimberly Harper KDF. Okay, that's not toll roads. And you have an unpaid toll, final notice. You have 12 hours for severe penalties. I mean, they make you feel like, oh my God, if I don't pay my $6.99, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. Pay now right here, here's the link. And that link doesn't even have Bay Area. Okay, Bay Area Fast Track could be believable, but then you might think, wait, I have not been in the Bay Area, okay? I have not been in the Bay Area. But when I saw this, easy, just like I was telling you before. You step away from this, and I did this. You go to tollroads.com, you enter your information, and you check, did I not pay a toll? And I did that, and it said 0, so I was pretty sure I never went on the toll road and didn't pay. But that is the one that they're, I know I've gotten like 10, so they keep sending them to me. All right, let's see. Okay, in person. Do I have time? Did I just tell me the time? About 6 minutes. Okay, I only have 6 minutes, okay. All right, in person, door-to-door family caretakers. I'm not gonna go through every single one. The most important one I'll talk about, because I see these cases so much as caretakers, right? We all get older, we'll need caretakers in our life. They're really great, they can be wonderful people, but the most important thing when you get a caretaker is to constantly look at your finances, okay? So what I mean is, I know you have to give them access, right? Sometimes they have to go get groceries or medicine or help pay bills. That's fine, but limit what you're letting them access, because most of the time what I'll get is somebody that had a caretaker for like 2 years, and then those full 2 years later didn't notice that like $100,000 was gone because it was little increments that no one would notice, right? You're not gonna always notice if you say, yeah, I need you to take care of my groceries and this and that, and there it starts with, oh, I went out to lunch, which might be fine. You might have said go out to lunch, that's fine. But you didn't say go out to Mastro's with your 10 best friends, right? Or you didn't say, sure, you can take a ride on an Uber to here, but you didn't say go take a vacation in Hawaii, and you won't notice because you might have not checked because you were generally okay. Your bank account kind of looked, in the right place. It wasn't anything like severely different. So just check, or if you have a trusted loved one, have them check, but just consistently check that it's nothing, there's not thousands of dollars being spent somewhere else that you're unaware of. Keep track or set those alerts, right? All the banks have things where you can set an alert that says if any transaction is over $100, I want an email or an alert. So when it's you, great. If there's an international transaction, I want an alert, so that you're just constantly saying, I have that set on mine. So if I spend $100 and I know it was me out there spending $100, it's different, but I get a little email every time. So those are affinity investing. I like to talk about that one. I think I made that name up, but affinity is just when you are part of a group, like a church or an ethnic group or a religious group or even like a sport, an activity, and you tend to believe those people because they're the same, they believe in the same things as you. Okay, those are where my most often investment scams come from, because they'll say, you know, I have this great investment plan, and it's you're gonna make it rich, or you're gonna do so well with your retirement income. Invest in this, and you want to be like, yeah, he goes to my church. Of course, I believe him. But stop, think, research on those. Okay, I won't go into complications as much, but. We talked about why you're targeted. I am targeted too. It's not just you guys, but it's because we are a trusting group, and they know that's where the money is, right? You've worked all your life. And so these crooks know where the money is. And sometimes you're home, you're easily accessible. So just be aware of that. And what can you do? I'm gonna leave you with this information. These are just some of the things. Call law enforcement, report to Adult Protective Services. They are really great. There's a lot of agencies. If you just don't know, you're unsure about an investment or something, ask them. They will help. And eventually they'll ask us, and we'll help you too. And then there's a bunch of, you don't have to copy all this down, but in the back we have these brochures, these booklets we've made, which talks a lot about some of the things I talked about, what to look for. And then in the back of the booklet, there's plenty of numbers and things that you guys can call. So thank you. I will be around, since I have to talk really fast, but I'll be around for you guys for later. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy DA Patel. And now we are going to hear from Assemblywoman Diane Dixon.
Good morning. Thank you for being here today. I am Assemblymember Diane Dixon, and I have the privilege of representing 8 amazing cities and their residents here in Orange County. I am in Sacramento today for a special session on the state budget. I am so sorry to miss seeing all of you and our special guests, Sheriff Don Barnes, District Attorney Todd Spitzer, and Orange County Clerk Recorder Hugh Nguyen. As many of you know, seniors are a major target for these scammers. Older generations grew up leaving their front door unlocked and greeting strangers with a smile. These scammers know this, and they will use your kindness against you. As I have worked to bring these scam prevention events to residents in my district, including Leisure World in Seal Beach and Laguna Woods Village, I've heard far too many stories of these heartless criminals. I'm sure that, like me, you are also receiving messages about a package you never ordered, a toll you didn't pay, or even a phone call from a number you don't know. The valuable information I've learned from all of these events has helped me protect myself and my family. I'm glad you are here today so that you can also begin protecting yourself and others from these crimes. Today I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker and a great fighter for residents of Orange County, Sheriff Don Barnes. He joined the Orange County Sheriff's Department in 1989. Over the course of his career with the department, he has held every leadership rank, culminating with his election as the 13th Sheriff Coroner for Orange County in November 2018. During his tenure as sheriff, he has focused on initiatives aimed at fighting crime, implementing programs in the jail to reduce recidivism, and increasing efforts to stop trafficking of deadly narcotics and humans. Sheriff Barnes leads a department of 4,000 employees. The men and women of the Sheriff's Department provide patrol service for approximately 800,000 residents, and they operate one of the nation's largest and most sophisticated county jail systems and manage the Orange County Crime Lab, conduct criminal investigations, and provide training services at the Sheriff's Regional Training Academy. He is also active in educating our representatives in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. Please give a warm welcome to Sheriff Barnes. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it. The introduction was actually very kind. I keep hearing all those things, and I go, man, that guy's busy. I'm actually blessed and privileged to represent Orange County in ways that really are beyond the county border. I'm on several different national task forces and several on intelligence committees that I serve on behalf of being the sheriff in some capacities, one with FBI, one with DHS, and I have the opportunity to share some of our threats and hopefully share the risks that we are facing across the country in ways that will educate sheriffs and police chiefs and other agencies. And we've been very successful in doing that, and I'm very proud to be able to do that on behalf of us. Senior scams are, you know why they do them? Because they work. That's the unfortunate reality. I'm sorry, I was here a little late. I had to go take care of a package that was stuck in a UPS center, and I had to pick up some gift cards to pay some toll road violations. It's sad to laugh at that, but the reality is it actually works. These people are so convincing that they get you to believe it and act on it. And we want that to not happen here in Orange County. We've been trying to educate the public at large, but specifically those who are what's the right term I should use? Not old, no, that's not it. No. Yeah. Living their best life, how about that part? So here's some data I want to share with you. I want to talk about some of the risks that have manifested over time and really how to keep an eye for them and what the future looks like. And it's going to get a lot more difficult to differentiate between reality and fantasy as we go forward. The FBI, that's FBI's IC3. IC3 is Internet Crime Complaint Center. It's where these cyber violations end up. They go to IC3 with the FBI. And they aggregate all of these cases into in that one location. The big challenge we're having with some of these violations, some of these frauds that are cyber-based, is they are the repository for the crime, but they don't investigate the crime. It just goes there as almost a clearinghouse. And if they have some way to stop the money from moving through the financial institutions, that's what IC3 does. And I'm proud to tell you, first of all, everybody here lives in South Orange County, correct? Probably somewhere down here. Do you realize you live in one of the safest places in the country? That's what we have here. 6 of the top 10 safest cities in California are patrolled by the Orange County Sheriff's Department. Laguna Niguel is always ranked as one of them if you're from this community. And there's a reason for that. It's not because the Sheriff's Department, I like to think it's because the Sheriff's Department does that. It's because of our relationship with our community. It's about educating you and helping you not become a victim of crime. You have to be co-producers of your own safety. I can't protect you on our own. We need you to work with us for the betterment of the whole community and keeping us safe. And I can tell you when that works best, when you call appropriately, when you call 911, when you report crime, unless investigated. The criminals learn, don't go back to sheriff's jurisdiction. They will catch you, and more importantly, I will keep them because I don't release people early from jail. So there is in the criminal environment, they know, don't come back. So IC3 is where these cases go when they are. The number of complaints received annually for IC3, the Internet Crime Complaint Center, increased from 770,000 in 2020, that's just before COVID, during COVID, to nearly 900,000 in 2024. The numbers are going up, and they're going up because they're working. The total number of losses increased from $4 billion in 2020 to that's a 400% increase, $16 billion in 2024. And that's encompassing all these different violations. They're cyber-enabled crime, cyber-defined crime. Those are cyber crimes where they either get you to do something, where they steal from you using cyber, the fraud that they use, those scams that they get you to buy into, they get you to give them things, and then they get reported there. In 5 years, IC3 has received 4.2 million complaints and $50 billion in reported losses. and it's going up, and it's going up exponentially. Back when I started this, hard to believe that I hear that number, 1989. I'm on my 37th year in this profession. But you hear, when I was a younger deputy working patrol, the cases we dealt with were somebody getting robbed at an ATM. You can have your bank account stolen from you from the other side of the world and not know about it for 6 months. They will be inside your systems operating. And I'm going to talk about some of the scams in a minute that I really want you to pay particular attention to. And if you do simple things, the likelihood of you becoming a victim is significantly reduced. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. I talked about the physical threats that we face in the public space. If you didn't know this, your car is twice as likely to be broken into in your driveway and 4 times as likely to be broken into parked away from your home. So if you park your car in your garage locked at night, it's highly improbable that you will be a victim of your car getting broken into. If you do simple things like not leaving physical items of value in plain sight in your car, it doesn't invite people to break into your car. So the simple things you can do that'll help prevent you from being a victim of crime is really not that hard. This is the target that we are. And by the way, I had my 60th birthday this year, so I'm in your group. So don't think that I'm talking to you. I'm talking with you about us living our best lives. In 2024, there were almost 150,000 complaints. Of those, 60 and over that accounted for just over a quarter of those losses, $4.8 billion. They are targeting us. They're targeting us because they know that we're vulnerable. You heard from the deputy district attorney. They know that you're vulnerable. They know how to play on your senses. They know how to pull your strings, and they know how to get you to react. These are some of the key things for being victimized. PII, personal identifying information. You should never, what's the definition of never? Does that mean sometimes? Never means not ever. You should never give personal identifying information to anybody over the phone or the internet. And they will try to dupe you into giving them that information. So if somebody calls and says, here's a famous scam, if you haven't had this one yet. Hello, this is Microsoft. Your system's been violated or compromised. We need to walk you through. Turn your computer on. We're going to walk you through how to uncompromise your system. And by the way, would you give us your credit card number, please? Or could you give us your social security number so we can validate that it's you? Microsoft does not call you to tell you anything. They don't call you to say something's happened. That's going to come on a much larger, usually through the news. I'm going to shock you here. We don't call you either, the sheriff's department. If you get a phone call or an email that says, this is the sheriff's department. You didn't show up for jury duty. There's a warrant for your arrest. Please go down to Target and get gift cards and send them to us. We do not take payment in gift cards. In fact, we don't call anybody to tell them they didn't do something. You may find out on a car stop one day that you have a warrant, but we're not going to, that's just not how we work. So be very, if it's pretty simple. If it doesn't make sense, it's probably for a right reason that it doesn't make sense. Anything that sounds too good to be true, those investment scams, they know that those of us living our best lives are usually doing that with a nest egg, some savings account, some retirement fund, whatever it might be, and they want their way into it, and they'll get you to do that. They may come to you and say, Rick, I'm going to pick on Rick. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pick on Rick. I'm going to talk about Rick. Rick, we can make 20% on this investment in South Africa. It's too good to be true. Nobody loses money. It's guaranteed. And could you give us your money, Rick, and we'll make you live your even better life. Sometimes, if it's too good to be true, I guarantee you it is too good to be true. Always go with a trusted financial advisor or your financial institution if you trust them to take care of your money. But these people that contact you through some avenue, they don't care about your money other than getting all of it. And they have ways to do that. Anybody heard about the granny scam? Yeah. Yes. The granny scam, if you don't know what that is, and I'm going to say to some lovely lady here, I'm your grandson, Don, and you get a phone call. Grandma, I'm in jail. I need your help. I'm going to make it even more frightening in a minute. And Grandma says, Don, is that you? You gave up information. Yes, it's me, Grandma, Don. I'm in jail. I need your help. And they get you to give money up to some person. This is the scary part, and this is what makes it very frightening. And I'm not quite sure how to solve this problem for you yet. Don, who calls Grandma, is actually Don's voice. Doxing my voice through AI, generative AI. All you need is about 5 to 6 seconds of me. If you're recording me right now, you can take my voice, throw it in a computer program, and start sounding like me. So they can talk into a microphone, but it comes out sounding like your grandson or granddaughter, and it's very, very convincing. So when you answer the phone and go, Grandma, oh, Don, that's you? Yes. And then it starts working their way through it. It's very, very frightening in how generative AI is working now in the public space. I already mentioned about some of the dupes that we have with these things. I can tell you that it doesn't have to be people who are our age. It can be much younger. My nephew called me one day and said, Uncle Don, our computer got hacked. We're trying to fix it. And I said, hang up the phone. It's a scam. He said, no, we've been working with them now for 2 hours and trying to get this fixed. I said, it is a scam. Please tell me you did not give them any information, banking information, nothing. He goes, no, I don't think so. But we're trying. And I go, look, did they ask you this, and this? Yes, how did you know? Because it's a scam. Hang up the phone. And he said to his wife, Uncle Don says it's a scam. And they hang up. Sadly, they did give them information. $6,000 later, they were bilked out of pretty much most of their savings because they're young. It doesn't have to be elderly or older. It's just these people are very, very, very convincing. Also be very leery of those who come knocking on your door who are trying to get information from you. It's not uncommon now for some of these professional criminals to knock on your door, knowing that many times people who are living their best lives are doing that alone. Unfortunately, they might have lost a spouse. So if they can get you to the front door, keep you engaged at the front door while somebody goes around the side of your house, enters the rear, and then starts going through your stuff as well. So this is just a really, really, I hate to say it this way, really sick world that we live in, that people are taking advantage of us, but they do it because it works. So be leery. I'm going to recap real quick, and I'll take some questions if I have some time. Don't give out any personal identifying information. Do not give any bank account information over the phone. I guarantee you there isn't any legitimate bank or financial institution that's going to call you at your house and say, we need to talk to you. Would you please give us your account, verify your account information for us, right? Or we want to confirm your social security number as we update your account. That does not happen. Never, what's the definition of never? Not ever give out personal identifying information. Be very skeptical of people who call you on the phone or send you texts as well. By the way, when you get these unknown callers, that number comes through, don't answer it. I guarantee you it's not anybody you know. If it's somebody you know, or a business that's trying to do business with you that is a legitimate business, they will leave you a voice message. This is Wells Fargo, would you please give us a call? Something like that. The reason I tell you that is those numbers that come up, oftentimes with an area code, there are area codes within the United States that are foreign area codes. They get you to answer that phone because when you answer that line, you start getting billed at an exorbitant amount for that international call that you just received. And they'll call you right back because every time you answer, you get charged $15 or $15 or $15. So don't take calls from people whom you don't know, unknown callers, right? So no PII, personal identifying information. Never give out or try or attempt to verify your bank account or financial information. Don't answer calls from unknown callers because they're oftentimes a scam. Sometimes now they'll come through and say potential scam. That's pretty simple, right? You know not to answer that one. Unfortunately for me, sometimes I have to answer my work phone because I get calls from all over the United States. But you can tell pretty quick when it's it's not something. I know when something's not what it is. But every once in a while I get bored and I mess with them a little bit. That's always fun. I always think to myself, if I have 15 minutes to waste their time, that's 15 minutes they're not going after somebody like you. So I feel like I'm doing my public service when I keep them on the line for a little while, giving them misinformation, bad numbers, and all kinds of fun stuff. That's just me. Sometimes I have to entertain myself. If you do have something that you want to, and I want to really stress this to you, you are not bothering us when you call us and say, I need to talk to a deputy or I need to talk to somebody about something happened to me. I'd much rather you be preemptive and call us and say, I think I just might have got a potential scam or I need to verify something. I'm going to give you a phone number in a moment to share. Then have a deputy or an investigator come out the next week and say, I lost my life savings. Right? That's a much better investment for us to spend 20 minutes with you to talk through how you did the right thing and how to prevent it than to spend countless hours the next week trying to get your money back. That's very, very important. I will tell you the one advantage we do have. Well, we have a lot of advantages here in Orange County, and I'm going to say some of them real quick, and I'm going to rapid fire. If you didn't know this, Orange County is the only county of the almost 3,100 counties in the United States that has our own terrorism fusion center. It's a fusion center started after 9/11. Now it's transitioned to an all crimes, all hazards, all threats center. So we have a team of people in a building in Tustin that's nothing that looks out for your best interests about cyber and domestic threats, homegrown violent extremists, hate crimes. We do that all here. And I'm the only sheriff in the nation has that. Nobody else. We're very blessed. One of the highest performing centers in the United States. And in that center, I have very talented people who have got national recognition for some of the programs that they have created. One of those programs is called the Cyber Liaison Officer Program. Every deputy that goes through my academy, by the way, the best academy in the nation, every deputy going through that academy is trained on the Cyber Liaison Officer Program. Let me tell you what this is. So I'm going to give you an example of what this is. A few years ago, one of the municipalities in Orange County had what's called a business email compromise. Business email compromise is an email that's doxed, sent to the financial person in charge of money, and says, we have to pay this account. Please send $500,000 to this routing number, and that person did it. Unfortunately, it was not legitimate. Business email compromise is somebody sends you an email that looks very legitimate, and it's not. And they put misinformation in there to send money to an account that's not the account it should be intended for. Well, that money was sent over. Fortunately, a deputy responded. Sometimes they see that as a fraud. It's not a fraud. Sometimes they see it as a theft because money's stolen. It's not a theft. It's a cyber-enabled crime. It's a cyber crime. Because we trained him for that, he saw it for what it was, got the routing information, went to IC3, Internet Crime Complaint Center, through the FBI, did what's called a financial kill chain. That means going in there and saying, freeze this money, it was stolen. So they go in, they freeze that money, it doesn't move. Eventually they work through the courts and the banking system to get that money back. We got the $500,000 back and got it back for them. I have countless times that I could tell you that we've gotten literally one lady, not in our jurisdiction, Newport Beach. Newport Beach called us and asked if we could help her, and we did. Her money had moved through 3 different financial institutions. We traced it, froze it just before it was ready to go offshore, and froze $1.2 million, her entire life's savings that she sold her home to move to a smaller home, and she would have been homeless probably if not for the fact that we got her money back. Timing is of the essence. This is my stress to you. I said, we're not bothering us. The number for you in South Orange County is 949, and if you have somebody that can share this, I'm sorry I didn't bring a PowerPoint. 949-770-6011. 949-770-6011. That is the sheriff's non-emergency number. Here's the other number I want you to memorize, in case you don't know that number, wherever you are. 911. That's an easy one. You're not going to offend us if you call 911 because you don't know the non-emergency number. You may be put in a queue because it may not be an emergent crime happening now, But if you don't remember that number, or somewhere you don't know the number, call 911 and we will simply answer the call. What's your emergency? I need to report a crime. Is a crime happening now? No. Okay, please hold. And they'll put you on hold for a moment because they're dealing with other emergency calls maybe at that moment. And that's not a problem. You're not going to offend us. Okay? Fair enough? I'm very proud of the work that we do here in the Sheriff's Department. I can tell you that we want to make sure that you are safe. Sometimes safe does not mean being physically safe. Sometimes safety means being financially safe and secure. That's the new trend. That's the new crime. That's what we're dealing with today. And if you are not following what's happening abroad, when I see things, I live in a different world, so my risk horizon is much broader. When I see Israel, Iran happening, I know immediately cyber is next. Iran is very, very strong. They may not be strong in their physical army anymore. They may not be able to get a nuclear weapon, but they know how to attack our infrastructure via cyber. So critical infrastructure like hospitals and water districts and other things, or you trying to send out some malware that gets you to click on. Here's the last thing I'm going to leave you with. I know I left you with a lot, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to inundate you. Email. Let's talk about email real quick. I will tell you something that may shock you. I don't open attachments unless somebody says, Sheriff, I'm sending you a file. It's coming right now. If you don't know this, when you go to your email, if you use Outlook, if you take the cursor, put it over the email address, it may say Don Barnes, and then you put it over the top, the extension of the email address opens up, and it says some name from Zimbabwe. You know it's not me, right? It should come up with, for me, it's going to say my name, ocsheriff.gov, which is a validated government site, right? And it should say verified in your thing. On your phone, you can do the same thing. If somebody sends you a text and it says Don Barnes or Sheriff Don Barnes, you go over that or just click on it and hold it. It will say, some name from some other continent, and well, I hope you know that's not me, right? So there are ways to validate that. But be very, very cautious about opening things. You can embed malware into that cute little video of the dancing kitty. And because that's super cute. I'm not trying to say it's not all nefarious or malicious, but that's how bad actors get into your system. And they'll park something in your system, it'll lie there and wait, watch what you're doing, collect information on you, report it back, and they start getting your keystrokes. They can see your keystrokes for your banking information. That's why two-factor authentication is so important, like facial ID, because you're not putting in information anymore. You're using your facial mapping that's unique to you in a way. Or two-factor authentication, as annoying as it might be, is I'm logging into Wells Fargo, I use my Face app, and then they send you a 6-digit code to your phone, right? They send it to your phone, and then you put that in, and then you can get in. It's two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication is what they're looking for. Can you think of what piece of information, I talked about PII, personal identifying information. If you're a criminal, if you're one of these cyber hackers, one of these illicit groups, what piece of information do they want about you more than anything else? No. They want that, but that's what they're looking for. They're actually looking for your email address or because if they can reset your account, go in, I forgot. If they can get your email address and hack your email address, and they get that reset code sent to them instead of you, they can go on and reset your account remotely and own it. So it's very, very, very scary. I set my thresholds, by the way. If you do this on your phone, one of the best ways to know if things are happening in your accounts or on your credit card, my thresholds for notification are 0 and $1 million. Now, that's only if my wife is shopping on my card, but it's 0. Every single time some transaction goes through, I get an alert on my phone that says, your card was charged $6. Your card was charged, and I know that's generally going to be me, right? If I got a thing that said, sometimes they test, but say, a charge that went through for 6 pennies. That's testing. They're probing, they're priming that account. It went through for 6 pennies. Then they know, okay, we're in. Now it's $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 until they bilk your account. So just be very aware. Nobody's going to look out for your money and your financial security more than you are, right? And I hate to say this in a way, but I just went through this with my mother, who I just lost on Christmas morning. My wife and I became her caretakers, and my wife, God bless her, was her financial handler. She went through all of her accounts, did everything, and managed it. When you get to that point, if you know you're getting to that point, or you have somebody who is already there, make sure they have somebody whom they can trust to manage those accounts for them. That's very, very important. And I've lost track of how many times my mom was targeted because how vulnerable she was of just help to try to get prime money out of her hands. It's very, very sad, the environment we live in. How much time do I have for questions? I have 4 minutes. I'll go rapid fire. Yes, ma'am. Yes. So the question is targeting you to get your voice. That is absolutely true. So you know how you avoid doing that? You don't answer those calls from unknown people, unknown callers. Make sure it's somebody you're talking to that's valid. My voice is out there. If they want to be me, they could probably be me all day long. I wish they would be me. I need a break. But that's true. You don't want to make it easy for them. If you answer that call and you start talking to them, they're recording, they will try to use that. More than likely, though, they're going to try to use your grandkids and young adults because they're so, I don't want to say trusting, probably more naive about the environment they openly operate in all day long because they live on these devices. I don't call social media social. I call it anti-social media. It is anything but social, and I think we need to try to obviously train them appropriately. Yes, ma'am.
Are Zelle and Venmo dangerous to use? I recently heard somebody got $30,000 stolen out of their bank account.
So the question is, Zelle and Venmo, are they safe to use? Yes, as long as you know that you're using them appropriately and you're validating the recipient of where you're sending it. Those are the two things. The person that lost that money more than likely got their account hacked and the money was moved using that third-party app, Zelle, to some other account. And if you follow that account, as soon as that money's there, I guarantee that other account was drained and closed. So you can't follow it. Yes, ma'am.
The facial recognition as opposed to the two-part authentication, I was a little bit worried about putting my face as facial recognition. And you're saying no, it's better?
Yeah, facial recognition. The question is facial recognition versus two-party or two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication. If you don't trust facial recognition, that's a personal decision. So I'm not going to tell you to trust it. You need to trust it. But I can tell you that every time you go and put keystrokes in, that's going potentially, it creates a risk if your account is hacked. More likely, though, the better way to do it is to have a password logger, a password manager. And there are really, really good ones that will either encrypt your passwords, make sure you do it appropriately, because if you set it up right and it's very strong and you forget your master password, you're not getting in. It will not let you back in. There's no reset to get back in those. So make sure if you use a password manager, I do that on both my work and my personal phone. And what that means is when I open up Wells Fargo to do banking, it automatically puts the information in. I'm not entering it anymore. So nobody's seeing that transaction if I happen to get hacked through that. I have time for one more. Yes, ma'am.
When you get one of these emails that you know is fraudulent, it's like your account, and
No. So the question is, if you get an email that you know is not legitimate, what should you do with it? It depends on what you're using for your software, for your internet browser. Outlook has a way that you can go up and click phishing email, and it'll take it and it'll wall it off from your system. I would recommend you don't just delete it. There's a way to go in. I'm remembering you either right-click on it. It will say junk mail, and you click junk mail. It will take that, and every other email they're sending you from that email extension will then get walled off. You'll never receive them again. So it'll take them. Yes, it's better if you're comfortable just deleting it. That's fine. But if you want to stop it, you're going to right-click over the email. It'll give you options. One of them is junk mail. You click junk mail. It may ask you to confirm. Yes, it takes that email, and anything else coming from that email domain in the future will then get walled off. You'll never see it again. No, right click. This is your mouse. Your main button is on the left. Usually have a right button. Right click is the other button. Click it and hold it down. It'll give you the prompt for junk mail. Or sometimes if you just have the email highlighted, there might be a button that you can click that says junk mail on the top. It'll take it and put it in junk mail that way too. Now keep in mind, if you have a really strong email filter, it will take all those away, and sometimes it might grab a couple legitimate emails as well. But I'd rather have a couple legitimate emails get pushed aside safely than have the bad ones get through. And I think I'm out of time. Yes. I'll take you two ladies real quick, 30 seconds. Yeah, so what was said there is secret codes. Here's the risk a little bit of secret codes. If my daughter, when she was 16 or whatever, had a secret code, and it has to be something very unique, and this is the important part, that's not in the public space. Because our kids live on social media. They put everything out there. And people who have doxing your granddaughter, grandson, they will go to their social media accounts. Oftentimes, that's how they find their victims in the first place. And they put everything up there. Today's my birthday. Well, I know my birthday is now June 27th, all right? Well, I know that they're a senior high school, which means they're probably born in this year. Now I have I have personal identifying information on that. I know your birthday. I know you live in Laguna Niguel. I know I can use public domains to start searching and finding information out about you. So it has to be something very unique. If you say, if my code word is the elementary school that we went to or you attended, probably not a strong code word, right? Something code word like lucky duck, right? Or what was your stuffed animal when you were a kid? Or even a prompt, Dad, this is Jim, your son. Okay, Jim, where did we go fishing in the 8th grade? Right? Then let's start trying to guess. You know what's even better than that? Where did we go fishing in the 8th grade? Dad, we don't go fishing. Right? So there's no way to even prime those things. You have to be very, very smart, I think, and be very aware. And the better prepared you are, the better equipped you are, the more likely they are not going to target you. It's a simple truth. If they know that they got you on the hook, they're going to keep coming back. Please don't bait that hook. Don't put it in the water. Don't give them the opportunity to start targeting you. The first time you shut them off, they go, well, I'm not going anywhere there. I'm going to move on to the next, unfortunately, unlucky person and target them instead. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being a great audience.
We'll go ahead and get started. My name is Tim Kearns, and I am the Director of Communications for Assemblywoman Laurie Davies here in the 74th District. So Laguna Niguel is one of our cities. I'm going to do a quick segment on pop-up scam ads. You see them all the time. You visit a website, and you probably see something like this.
Your computer has been locked up. Your IP address was used without your knowledge or consent to visit websites that contains identity theft virus.
By a show of hands, who has seen something like that on their computer? All it takes is a quick misspelling. You're trying to go to Facebook to log in and see your family. You misspell Facebook, and a hacker like that has that domain. You'll get those pop-ups, and they're urging you to call, to click, to enter information. We're going to go through what to do to get out of those windows, because some of them can be tricky. They can lock up your computer. They can look like they're frozen. So what is a pop-up scam? It's a deceptive online advertisement that appears suddenly on your screen, and it often mimics legitimate alerts. Again, I'll show on the next slide some examples. These look like legitimate alerts. These ads may trick users into clicking malicious links, downloading malware, sharing personal information. Personal information by claiming urgent issues like fake virus warnings and too good to be true deals. That seems to be a theme that we've been discussing this morning. The key here is stay cautious and avoid interactions with these pop-ups. So again, you have big brands here. They use logos. These, you should never click on them. A lot of them will contain phone numbers and say, urgent call, your computer has been infected. Please do not call that number. Now again, as I mentioned, a lot of them will lock you out of the screen. Your computer will freeze. You're trying to press escape. You're trying to press cancel. Nothing is happening. I'm going to show you a quick way. And again, this entire presentation is being filmed. We'll make sure that you guys are all receiving that via email. But if you do have a notepad, I'm going to kind of break down the way to get out of this. The goal is to close the web browser. And sometimes it's simple, just going to the escape tab, pressing exit, you're good. On your mobile device, it's as easy as swiping up, closing the application. You cannot get a virus on your phone. So even if you see one of those pop-ups on your phone, you have nothing to worry about. Just close the application. On a computer, you're going to try to use force quit, which is holding the Alt key and the F4 key, and I'll have a visual demonstration for everybody here. On newer computers, they just try to make it harder on us, and they added one more key to it. And then for those of you that have Macs, Apple computers, they have their own protocol here. So I'll quickly show you. On a standard computer, a little bit older keyboard, you have the Alt key down here at the bottom, and then you have your F4. That is going to immediately close out the application that's in front of you, even if the computer is frozen. On a little bit newer keyboard, and this is PC again, they have this function key here. The F4 will not work unless you're holding down the function key. So it's still F4, Alt, and function. Now, Alt, FN, F4. All three of those at the same time. Now for our Mac users, Apple computers, slightly different. It's Command Q for Command Quit. Pressing that, again, will close out the application regardless of if your computer seems like it is frozen. Again, it's better to be safe than sorry. If you are truly worried about a potential security threat, just take it to a professional, or I'm sure some of you guys have a grandchild that runs your phone better than you. I think my 3-year-old son knows how to use his phone better than mine. Never call the phone numbers, ever. Oh, we got one quick question here. Apple iPads would be the exact same way that mobile phones work, and same thing with PC tablets. You're just going to swipe out of those. They run on the similar operating system to phones. You cannot get a virus on your iPad or your tablet. This would be for desktop computers and laptops. Again, don't trust the phone. Best Buy has Geek Squad. Take it in person. Find a local Best Buy, take it in person, and ask the question. These tips here, though, could save you some money. Every trip that you take to go see a professional might cost, $45, $50. This might save you by pressing the Alt F4. And again, as I mentioned, in-person assistance is always going to be more secure than speaking to somebody over the phone. One more quick reminder as we move forward, all the vendor booths are in the back. As I did say, we had a couple more people walk in. This entire event is being recorded. All the presentations will be available and sent to you via email and on every Assembly member's website. Again, thank you for your time, and we'll move forward. I'm going to bring back up Jim here to talk about our next speaker.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for that valuable information. And now we would like to hear from Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez, and I am proud to serve California's 71st Assembly District. Thank you so much for attending our program this morning on how to protect yourself from being a victim. Every year, thousands of individuals, especially our senior community, are scammed out of thousands of dollars from corrupt individuals. These days, bad actors can find you through many different ways, like phone calls, emails, and text messages, and even still through U.S. mail. This morning, our mission is to shed light on these various schemes and ever-changing ways that these unscrupulous individuals can locate you. I encourage you to pay careful attention to the information that is shared with you this morning, and please make sure that you get all of your questions answered. We want to ensure that you and your family remain unharmed from potential financial abuse. Before we hear from our next speaker, Orange County Recorder Hugh Nguyen, we have an important video to share with you.
The FBI calls it house stealing, the latest scam where a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name and steals your hard-earned equity.
It's roughly 60 to 90 days for that person to even figure out that they're the victim of this crime. You start getting foreclosure notices, and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
Unfortunately, it's on you to protect yourself. You might already be a victim. Check your title status now at HomeTitleLock.com.
Thank you again, everyone, for making the time to join us here today. I hope you have a very informative morning.
Our next speaker is Orange County Clerk Recorder Nguyen.
Good morning. My name is Nguyen, Orange County Clerk Recorder. I want to introduce my staff here, so if you have any questions after I speak, you guys can ask them. So I have my Assistant Clerk Recorder, Robert, back there. Sylvia, raise your hand, my Deputy Recorder, and I have Billy and Martine here to help you with anything you need. So a lot of things that were talked about is more exciting stuff on the clerk side. Anybody getting married anytime soon? That's what we were talking about Hitch at Honda Center during the pandemic. When the country was shut down, we opened, I got ticket booth and dropped it at the Honda Center and did weddings there. And so it was very innovative. We were the first in the, well, oh, thank you. Yeah. We were the first in the country to start issuing marriage license. And so it was an exciting time. But, our service, we have a lot of services. Birth, death, marriage. If you're born in Orange County, you get married in Orange County, you pass away in Orange County, we have your record. Fictitious business name. If you found a business name, you do it with our office. Notary, you want to become a notary. We do passport. A lot of people don't know we do new passport, right? And we're the lowest cost for photos at $7. And so, also marriage license and a lot of marriage ceremony. And so we have branch offices in Laguna Hills. So I encourage all South County resident, if you need our service, and it's right there at El Toro Road at the Laguna Hills City Hall. But I'm here to talk about our recorder side, more about fraud and everything, just like Todd Spitzer talked about earlier, our DA's office. So our office is dedicated, I can promise you, to safeguarding properties for owners against real estate fraud. Below is a list of owners, a list of measures implemented in my office to uphold this commitment. So I'm going to just give you some ideas and suggestions of what you need to do to be proactive to help yourself beside what we do at our office, okay? So first, we have a great partnership with the District Attorney Office to support fraud prevention effort. We record real property documents, property that are only in Orange County. So if it's in LA County, San Diego County, Riverside, or neighboring counties, and if you record it with them, good luck getting your copies, but we're better than that. Orange County, you can get your copy. I always love to mess with our neighboring counties. We have experienced document examiner. That's very important. These are things I'm going to tell you that safeguard your records. I started my career as a document examiner in 1994. Wow, 30 years already, 31. But we have experienced examiners. The reason why I'm saying that is they're trained to identify potential fraud, right? So they look at certain documents. A document submitted to our office, I'll use a grant deed as an example. We examine it for requirements. So we look for the grantor, grantee's name. We look for legal description, right? We look for the signature to match. And the most important thing that our staff scrutinize is the notary. They have to notarize your document. Anybody ever get their document notarized before? Or any other document? Well, they sit in front of you, right? They fingerprint you. They check your ID. They want to know you're personally appearing in front of them. That is so important. So our examiner makes sure that meets the criteria. So we examine the document based on its face value of the requirement, right? So if a fraud happens at that moment, if you and I, Rich, I'm transferring your property to me, right? And for some reason you signed it and you went to a notary, our staff wouldn't know, right? Because it met all the requirements. So I want to make sure. A lot of people ask us those questions, and we can't call every document. We do around an average of 1,500 to 2,500 documents a day. I would need like 1,000 staff to verify, to call, hey, Rich, did you sell the property to Hugh? And all that. But that's why we have things in place, the notary, right? And so that's very important to have experienced examiner, and I feel we do have that. Also, we maintain current mail. So if you mail in any document to my office, I promise you it will be recorded today, the day you mailed it in. And why is it so important? Because early notification is the key to anything for fraud, right? So we don't leave our office until everything's recorded for that day. And that is so important because it gives us an opportunity to index the document within 48 hours. So you can actually view your document. If you and I recorded something today, you should be able to view it by Tuesday, right? Because weekdays we don't count it, but we index it, and it's immediate because it's so important. And so also same-day recordings, documents are indexed, right? And the most important thing in Orange County, a lot of people don't know, and I was so proud to be part of it in 1997, before I was elected county clerk recorder, is electronic recording. It's called electronic recording. We're the first in the country in 1997. My former boss had a brilliant idea. He grandfathered this in, right? So what it means is title companies who we felt had the vested interest. That's the key. They can record it electronically from their office. There was a law that was put in play that allows them to send digitized signature to our office. So we don't have any paper document in our office at that moment when we started it. And the confirmation was quicker for the title companies. And my former boss, Mr. Granville, he was brilliant. He got them to mail all the document back to the homeowners. You know how much money we save for taxpayer, even up to today? Thousands of dollars. So with that said, ER, in Orange County, we record 80% of our document electronically. 80. The reason why I'm so proud of that is because anybody who uses the electronic recording system, they go through DOJ. They get fingerprinted, right? They get live scan. We issue at the clerk recorder a token to the individual. If Debbie works for First American Title, you're going to get a token. We know who's submitting your document. That is so important because if there is a fraud, we can go back to the source, right? And so our electronic recording system is called Secure. It's owned by LA, San Diego, Riverside, and Orange County. We represent 70% electronic recording in the state of California, 70. And we have 19 counties that use our system, all the way up to Santa Barbara, Santa Clara. I'm going to miss them if I try to name all 19 of them. But to me, electronic recording is the way we do business, and that's why I feel it's so important for our resident in Orange County. Also at our office, at the counters. If you're going to come into the counters, we have cameras at the counters when you record real property documents. Why do we do that? We work closely with the DAs to capture any individual who wants to try to do fraudulent document. And not only that, I work with the DAs. We save the image for 3 years. 3 years, because of prosecution rights. And so I can tell you that's another security measure we have. And also, the district attorney have worked with us. We have signs at our window that clearly states, if you're here to record a fraudulent document, you will be prosecuted. And at every counter for recordings, we have that. So these are, I just want to make you feel comfortable that these are some of the secure things that we do. Now, the most important thing is we send out courtesy notice for anything that deals with a transfer of your property, right? And I want to make it clear real quick because we get asked this all the time. In San Diego County, you have to sign up with an email, right? You've heard the Sheriff Don Barnes, you've heard everybody talk about emails. It's kind of dangerous to me. And I'm not going to criticize any other county, but guess what? In Orange County, everybody is signed up for free. Because if a transaction is recorded in our office that has your name on it, right? It's not what we go for is your name. It's your actually property address that we get from the assessor office. And so it's the original. So if a criminal tries to come in and record a document, on the upper left, it's going to say recording requested by and mailed to where, right? Where they want us to mail it to. That's great. They can put any address they want, but that's not where we're going to mail it to. We know the original property owner address is where we're going to mail it to. So if you happen to get a courtesy notice with my name and our district attorney Todd Spitzer's name on there, we're just giving you early notification that, hey, something is happening in your property. If it's you, beautiful, it worked. If it isn't you, please call the DA office right away. And his team is amazing. They work so good with us. We get on stuff right away. So I'll remind you, no sign up necessary, okay? And also, if you visit the DA's office, they have an online form to report real estate fraud if that happens to happen to you. And also, does everybody have one of these in front of you? Because I'm going to work with Todd and Sheriff Don Barnes too. We're going to take the show on the road and really work with all county residents and let you know about this. So if you have this in front of you, so like I was saying, no sign up necessary. The courtesy notice is free. It's in your package in the back. If not, my staff can raise your hand and we can get you one. Robert, can you bring some, please? So the first thing on here is we've been doing the prevention fraud courtesy notice since 2007. 2007. And we collaborate with the DA's office. No sign up is necessary if you see on there. These are some of the things I would ask you to do for yourself, okay? So contents of the notice. The notification of the recent property recording transaction. The first page preview of the recorded document. So when you receive that courtesy notice, it'll have the first page of a recorded document. So you know exactly what it is. If you suspect fraud, contact Orange County District Attorney's Real Estate Fraud Unit. We have the email on there for you. And then be proactive. Regularly monitor for any recorded document that may affect ownership every 6 months. You can go on our website, ocrecorder.com. You don't even have to come to our office. You can't view the image because the law doesn't allow it. And I wouldn't allow the image online anyways if they allow it, because that's dangerous for all of us, right? But you can go on our grantor grantee online and punch in your name every 6 months to see if anything's happening in your property, right? That's the way to do it. And then also, you can always come visit our office. If you're in South County, go to Laguna Hills. The computers are free. You can use it at any time, okay? And so, and you know, a lot of fraud, I know our DAs talked about it a little bit, is a lot of fraud unfortunately happens within the family. From my experience for 30 years, I've had a lot of phone calls where the mom would cry on the phone because her son took her, tried to take her property. So just be aware of who you can trust. It's sad, but it is, that's how it is, right? And so, yes. Well, it would go to your original address. Are you renting the property out or something else? No, my daughter still lives there, but I don't always get my mail that quickly. Yeah, well, you can always call our office or check with us, but it is mailed to that address. There. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sir, we'll do questions at the end.
Yeah, we'll do afterward. So, yeah, I just want to leave you with that. If you have any question, any doubt, call my office, right? 714-834-2500. We're gladly to help. I have a document examining team that has questions. And we just won NACO Award for CR Bot, so you can live chat with us anytime and ask questions.
Thank you. Hope you can all hear me okay. All right, some of the concepts that I'm going to go over were talked about earlier, but personally, I think we just can't keep hammering these enough to keep you guys safe while you're interacting online. So I know we're limited on time. I'm going to talk about three main topics: technology support scams, tech support, technology-enabled investment scams, and impersonation scams. You notice this beautiful photo of the beach with 2 empty chairs. The chairs are empty because these retirees are working again because they fell for one of these scams. Don't let that be you. Let's start with tech support scams. There we go. All right, so you're surfing the internet, watching your favorite cat video, when suddenly you run into this.
Shut down or restart your computer.
Oh my goodness! What did you click on? What happened? What's going on in my computer right now?
Stop illegal activity.
All these years of memories and photos of my grandkids. This obnoxious ad won't stop. What am I going to
Your
do?
computer has been locked up.
I'm going to call that number, right? The gentleman earlier told you how to get out of that. I know somebody in here is going to call that number. And what happens when you do? You're going to talk to this person who's going to get access, who's going to convince you to give them access to your system so they can look around and see what accounts you have that they can get into, what information they can steal. I often get asked, what if my system really is locked up? What if I really am infected? Well, the difference is on your left here, we have a pop-up, right? And an ad, we call it ad scares. It's getting you to do something to engage in the fraud. On the right, we have a legitimate cyber attack known as ransomware. This is a very ugly virus that's out there. Our cyber squads are constantly dealing with this. The difference is, though, that ransomware will encrypt your computer. It'll turn into a brick. You won't be able to access any of your information. The one on the left is just a pop-up. You can get out of this. And the big difference that I usually note is that the pop-up needs you to do something for it to be effective. You need to call this number, visit a website that it may offer you, or send an email that may pop up on the ad. Okay, another method we see for tech support scams are those unsolicited telephone calls or emails. We all get them. I get them, sometimes even on my government phone. And basically, they're trying to convince you that there's an issue with one of your accounts. And again, you need to take the step to call or email them to engage in the fraud so that they can dupe you into giving them access to whatever account they're trying to get into. So let's take a look at an example. I get this exact same invoice, many of you might have, from PayPal for a Bitcoin purchase that we absolutely did not make, right? And you see this invoice, and initially you're like, wait a minute. Somebody used my account. I better fix this. Oh, look, there's a telephone number and an email address. How convenient. Let's see what happened to somebody who reported to our office, then this happened to them. This is an actual report. I did scrub it to protect the individual's identity, but they received an email of an unauthorized Bitcoin purchase from PayPal. They foolishly called the number they provided. That's the big piece here. They spoke to someone claiming they could fix this immediately. They tricked them into downloading something to give them access to their computer. And while they did that, they logged into this person's cryptocurrency account. This was an avid cryptocurrency investor, 90 years old, by the way, God bless him, but held a bunch of his retirement in crypto. As a result, I lost $14.7 million, 140 Bitcoin, probably valued a little bit higher than that. This is at the $105,000 valuation that was a couple days ago when I was creating this. So that's tech support. Sorry for rushing through these. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. We're going to move on to investment scams. Now, investment scams, these are generally, can be summarized as like a fake brokerage, an online investment website, or a mobile app that you can download and use to quote-unquote invest. Once you create an account with these platforms, you can actually make trades that fool you into thinking that you're earning returns. The internet calls this pig butchering scams. I encourage you guys to Google that and research it. Just make sure you add scams to pig butchering, or else you're just going to see how we get our pork products. But this hit us like a freight train at the Bureau. For the last couple of years, these have just been coming in almost weekly, from 6-7-figure losses. And what these folks are after, so once they get you hooked into investing, they want to steal as much wealth as possible. Notice we say wealth. They're not just after what's in your bank account. They want to convince you that you're going to earn so much money on their platforms that you should liquidate your retirement account and invest it. You should borrow against your home and invest, because you can't lose. look, you can realize all your dreams. You can send your grandkids to whatever school they want to go to if you invest in our website. Now, how do you get there? Usually starts with unsolicited contact. Someone's going to, it'll be an unsolicited text message, a Facebook message. We're seeing a lot more professionals getting targeted now on LinkedIn. And you may ask, an unsolicited text message, well, how does that work? Well, I'll give you an example. I get a message saying, hey, Jim, you going to play golf today? Oh, sorry, the wrong number, I'm not Jim. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to text you. You seem like such a nice person. I just moved here, I'm looking to make friends. And we're all nice, friendly people in the room, and we think, oh, wow, we got this nice person reaching out to me. Maybe I'll carry on a conversation and I'll make a new friend. That's how they get you hooked, and they're very patient. They'll talk to you for weeks sometimes, earning your trust, and then eventually introduce this investment opportunity. And since this is your new trusted friend, you might think, hey, I'll try it. And that's how this gets going. So you'll want to avoid those. Here's a couple examples of what some of these platforms look like. These are from actual cases we worked. On the left here, you have options to download mobile apps. You can actually download a functioning application to your phone that makes it appear that it's an actual investment platform, like your Charles Schwab or Vanguard account. The one on the right is just an online website that you can log into. You can actually create an account with login credentials, transfer funds, that's the key part. The funds then appear in your account balance, and then you can make trades with them. And of course, you never lose. You always earn money. Isn't that great? People are convinced, and in some cases, people can even withdraw money early on. And then they're really hooked, thinking, well, I can access this money anytime, right? So they put more and more money in, and then when they realize their account, they're out of money to invest, they've made all this money on their trades, they want to withdraw it, it's gone. They can't. They'll reach out to a customer service representative, I use that in air quotes, who will tell them, oh, I'm sorry, your account's been locked for insider trading or money laundering, or you have to pay additional fees, and just trying to get more money out of them, and they never end up getting any of their money. Largest victim of this so far for us in Orange County, $36 million. Here are some of the apps. The one on the right was taken directly from a victim's phone. Coinbase and Crypto.com, two legitimate crypto exchanges. The one in the middle, BBV Coin, was the fraudulent app. Look how similar they look. It looks legitimate, functions just like the others. Coinbase and Crypto.com is what the victim used to transfer his funds into crypto. Those were his accounts. And then he transferred them to the scam platform to make his investments. So these are very real looking. These are professionals that design these. And so we want you to obviously avoid this. Next slide, please. This was a real case. Bank CEO probably meant well, wanted to invest the bank's holdings into one of these platforms, believing it was real. He's going to earn huge returns for all his customers. Turns out all the money was stolen. The bank went under, and he's going to prison. So these are sophisticated victims that fall for this because these folks are professionals. So learn before you earn. Cryptocurrencies can be a fascinating investment vehicle. I'm not saying, hey, crypto is illegal. I've invested in crypto. But understand what you're doing and never take advice from somebody you've never met. They may seem like your best friend. They're texting you every day. They're sending you photos. They seem so real. We've even had scammers that got on FaceTime calls with our victims. They're talking to a real person. These are professionals. These are well thought out scams. So they believe that, hey, this is my newfound friend. I can trust them. Never take advice from somebody you haven't met in person. Next. All right, let's talk about why your funds are so hard to recover. This one's hard. I really got to click through this one. Okay, so this is one of hundreds of charts that I've created tracing stolen cryptocurrency. I know a lot of this is going to seem foreign to you guys if you're not familiar with crypto. Tether is a stable coin, so 1 Tether equals $1. So this started as Tether on the Tron network, and this was about $9 million to start. Oh, perfect. So they swap it to another type of crypto on another blockchain. They use a service to then go back to another type of stablecoin, back to another network, and then they cash out where they sell off the crypto into an overseas bank account. Why does this matter? Why are they doing all this? Why is all this necessary? Because they're paying fees every time they swap the type of crypto. They're doing that to buy themselves time. So this swap service in the middle, I had to reach out to them and ask for records. Hey, this actor used your service. I need to know where the money went from there. This took me about 7 days to put together. It took them about 72 hours to take that money, sell it off into a foreign currency, deposit into a foreign bank account, and then move it from there. And that's where we lose visibility, and that is why a lot of our victims don't get their money back. This is what's happening to your funds after they are stolen. This is why when you reach out to us, while we absolutely want to help you, we are just behind the 8 ball almost every time. And especially with these investment scams, while this is happening, this individual is operating their account. They're making trades. They're thinking, hey, I'm making money on my investment, and I'm just going to let this ride out. So this hits my desk. In this case, this was 3 months after this all happened. So we are almost at a losing battle when it comes to recovery. Next one, please. All right, impersonation scams. These are still around. This is where somebody calls you up out of the blue, says, I work for the U.S. Customs Service. I'm going to arrest you if you don't pay us to dismiss this warrant. Next slide, please. This is an actual report we got. Someone here in Orange County received a phone call from a Border Patrol agent. They found a stolen car with a package of heroin, and your information was on it. Now you're going to be arrested unless you follow my instructions. They also offered details of this made-up case, and they offered their name and badge number, as if that somehow adds legitimacy. Oh, he's got a badge number, he must be real, right? Well, this terrified ladies sent about $57,000 out of fear that they would be arrested. Next one. Law enforcement does not operate like this, okay? Immediately hang up the phone, never transfer any money. If you're concerned, you can call your local police department, you can call our office, we can talk you through this. Do not send money. Also, we've seen an uptick in folks that are being convinced that their accounts have been compromised, and a U.S. Treasury agent has called them. And in order to secure your funds, you need to buy gold and hand it off to one of our agents. And they show up at their house, they take the gold, and they're going to put it in a safe place for you, a safe vault. I had a gentleman that lost his life savings doing this. Folks, the FBI, the Treasury Department, the Sheriff's Department, nobody is going to come take your retirement and secure it. I'm sorry. As the sheriff had said earlier, the government is here to protect you. We're not here to run your lives, right? I certainly believe in individual freedoms and independence. The government is not going to operate like this. We're never going to ask for money. We're never going to, ask for you to convert your funds to gold and hand them to us. Reporting, very important. If you or someone you know is a victim of a scam or even an attempted scam, go to ic3.gov. It stands for Internet Crime Complaint Center. These reports do get looked at, they get analyzed, they get aggregated. Some folks have said, well, you report there and they don't get investigated. That's actually not true. I have a number of open cases that originated from IC3 reports. However, we do have analysts that look at these, and they will triage. And so if we start seeing what looks like the same actors hitting multiple people over and over again, we're obviously going to prioritize those. We're going to open those cases, and those are going to be the folks we're going to go after first. So if you lost $2,000 or $3,000, or unfortunately even $50,000, it may not be investigated by us. We just don't have the resources. I regularly get cases that are $1 million or more. We have a limited number of prosecutors, so it may not be investigated, but it will get looked at. And if your $20,000 case loops into a multi-million-dollar case that's already running, then we would like to know that so we could take that information and use it to hopefully get somebody in custody. Okay, you've seen these numbers already. Some of the elected officials stole my thunder. These are publicly available. But I just want to drill this home. 60 years and older complaints for 2024. They're enormous. 147,000, 127 nationwide. The loss is $4.8 billion. I know you've heard it already. I think you need to hear it again. Next slide. Again. I know you saw this already. The red represents the loss amount, the dollar losses nationwide. This is only in most of your age groups. Many of you look very young, so I don't want to judge, but for 60 and older, the losses are only going up. From 2018 to 2024, we're going in the wrong direction. The blue represents the number of complaints. That's kind of gone up and down, but the losses have steadily climbed. Why? As the sheriff had said earlier, they're successful. And unfortunately, you folks are some of the best targets for them. You've worked your whole lives, you have accumulated wealth, you're nice, trusting people, and they want to come and target you. Next one. Here are just the overall losses for 2024, just shy of $18 billion nationwide. $50.5 billion in losses since 2020. Folks, we are going in the wrong direction. Go ahead, click again. This just keeps going up and up and up. This is one of the few types of crime that just consistently goes up. And I could tell you, with the number of complaints we get, we don't have nearly enough agents or prosecutors to address even a small percentage of them. And so the way we're going to avoid this is prevention, is through talking to you folks and word of mouth marketing, okay? Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, your grandkids, your children, that this stuff is out there, that people are trying to come up with new ways to target folks all the time. And it's not just those who are 60 and older. We have victims that come in that are in their early 20s. We had some that were convinced to take out loans to invest in some of these platforms. So now they're in debt and they're broke. These are non-discriminatory offenders. Anybody that they think they can shake down for money, they're going to target and go after. So be sure to let your loved ones know this stuff is out there. If you're ever concerned, if someone starts telling you about, hey, I got this great crypto investment, I'm making all this money, I got this app on my phone, red flags, right? Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I saw something about this. That might be a scam. Now, they're going to be convinced it's not. I've had folks convince me that they're not involved in a scam when I'm at their door trying to tell them, you're involved in a scam. We just wrote a search warrant for an email address. Your name's in there. You're in, no, Agent Cliff, you have it wrong. I'm making all this money. You're just trying to, interfere with whatever. So it can be hard to get through to them, but just try to talk to them. Get them into our office. We'll talk to them. Whatever we can to prevent folks from losing their hard-earned money. Next slide. Okay. We'll end on a good note, but I just want to reiterate. Folks also come in and they say, hey, this guy took my money. This guy John I met on Facebook, it's him. Folks, it's not John. It's a network. It's an enterprise. It's an organized crime ring operating overseas. They have compartmentalized operations, folks who run their websites, folks who run the call centers, and the ones who actually talk to you, folks who launder the money. They're mid-level lieutenants who keep everybody in line, the people above them that run the whole thing. It's a huge enterprise, and these investigations take us years to get to the bottom of. So as new ones are coming in weekly, there's just no way we can keep up with them. So let's watch out for each other. Let's try to prevent as much of this as we can and take care of yourselves, okay? We're short on time. I'll hang out for Q&A after if needed. But thank you all for coming and for being generous with your time.
The special agent will be in the back to answer any questions you might have. On behalf of our hosts, Assemblywoman Laurie Davies, Diane Dixon, and Kate Sanchez, we want to thank you. Hopefully you found this all informative, correct? And a big thank you to our speakers.